Podcast 806, 14,630.4 years.
Hi everyone and welcome to this week's Mighty MyMac podcast. Yes, it's that time of the week again and we're back. So we're back,
Twice.
as Steve would say, twice. Because some of you may have noted, you may have seen that we did a Mac and Forth, which was a live show.
I know, and we were good.
We were really, really good. I tell you what,
we behaved ourselves.
We were so much better on that show
than this one. How does that happen?
How does that happen? Anyway, Monday is that thing that we've all been waiting for, isn't it, Guy? We've been talking about it non-stop until we're thick of it. I'm thick up to here. Yes. But except now, Apple have said something to hack all of the free app developers out there, or something. Apparently, yeah, it's hard to tell what to be outraged about this week. And guess what, guys?
Tell me
what? Simon Parnell answered the Saturn Moon Titan question from last week. And does anybody know what the answer is?
I'm totally confused.
Well, you said it at the start of the show.
What?
14,630.4 years for that moon to be 1 mile further in orbit. A nice, fresh, custom-made WOOTie was sent, and hopefully Mr. Parnell has appreciated it, printed it out, and put it up on his toilet wall.
It deserves to be next to a toilet.
Better.
Yes. No, it's definitely... As great and wonderful as WOOTies are, they fit right in with your bathroom decor.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you very much, Simon. Well done. Good job.
We'll probably do it again. It's not the same question, obviously, because what's the point?
More people might get it right.
Yeah. Hey, how about 2 years? What are 2 miles? How far would that be? Impossible to tell. You couldn't even multiply the original answer by 2 and figure it out. No way.
No way. Now we'll come up with another question.
Yeah, eventually. Something.
Anyway, how was your week?
Well, I'm now back to work on a semi-regular basis, and
well, that's good.
You know, and we kind of touched on it. If I'm looking forward to WWDC for anything, it's to finally give the yes or no answer for this year for the Mac on ARM or Intel. I've had it up to here with whether or not Mac is going to go in TARM.
Is that your chin?
What did I just say? In TARM is what I just said. Mac is going to go in TARM because, that's a thing. Did I tell you I'm going to be 60 years old this year? How is it I'm even able to still tie my shoes? It's a mystery. It's a total mystery.
Hang on a minute. I wish I'd known you were going to say that.
Why? It's a mystery. Oh, yes, it is. It is a mystery. How about you?
Or what I could do.
Yeah.
It's a mystery. Oh, it's a mystery.
Yeah, we're going to get pulled down for that, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, it was less than 30 seconds.
Yeah, well less.
No,
I can tell you, it was 1.9 seconds for the first one and 4.6 seconds for the second one. There you go.
If you add them together, it's over a year.
Yeah, that's 6.5 seconds in total. Anyway, it turned up, Guy.
I know.
It turned up.
Finally.
It only went and turned up. So people should be going, Hopefully they should be going, Gaz sounds a little different. Well, that's because I'm now speaking to you via my new, gleam, glint, Rode Podcaster. It's fitted into the same cradle, and it's seen as the Rode Podcaster version 2 on MyMac. See what I did there? MyMac. Had a bit of a problem with my playlists that I have had for a number of years now. They disappeared, Guy, from my phone.
Really?
They were on MyMac. See what I did there? again, but I couldn't get them across to the phone for some reason. After a number of searches last night and an awful lot of swearing on my part, it must be admitted, I'm not really understanding what I needed to do, whether I needed to turn syncing on or off. But after doing that a couple of times, it seemed to fix it. And now all of the playlists are on my phone. However,
are you synced of it yet?
Oh, very good.
No,
very good. Are you syncing it yet? Yeah. However, there are a number of records in those playlist records. Arc at me. There are a number of tunes on that playlist that Apple won't have. They just won't have them. I don't care how big any company gets, they will not have these tunes because they are some of my daughter's band's tunes, and they are not on iTunes. Right?
Right.
Yeah, the Youth Brass 2000 band.
I remember that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I went across to Music app on MyMac. God, that's 3 times.
3 times.
3 times.
Never gets old.
And then they weren't there, and they'd lost the link. And since the update to Music, I hadn't really used it on the Mac, and now it's trying to find the media in a media location that it wants to find it. Not on the media location where I originally had it and had it in iTunes and everything was working. No. That's far too easy for Apple to keep. So I've now updated all of those the music in the Music app, but I haven't yet had the chance to go back in and see whether it's updated the links and whether it's refreshed them or whether I've got to go through every one and find the ones it can't. Oh. Apple, you really... the amount of control that they want, I was livid, guy. Livid. I was livid. I was thinking, MyMac, you can go out the window. Oh, that's 4 times, yeah. But anyway,
well, do you know what?
Heavily.
Here's the thing, Gaz.
Go on.
Bells.
Whistles, mate. Whistles.
Don't you remember bells?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember the bells.
I still have not found it.
You've still not found
I've got all these hard drives that I do not have. I know. Well, it was some other thing else that I said. I have all these hard drives that I do not have connected to my Mac. So what I do have is I don't have it within arm's reach. It's this little thing of cables.
Arm's reach. See what you did there?
Yeah. Arms that I can connect up raw, bare hard drives into a USB port. And so what I need to start doing is go into that, find the stuff that's not on any of these drives that I currently have connected. And if I still want it, things like bells, then transfer that over so that it's being backed up because I'm using Backblaze for my offsite.
If somebody wants to start listening again from 285.
Wow. Good luck.
How many shows is that?
That's what are we on? 806, and that's not even counting all the ones that we didn't number because there's a bunch that aren't numbered.
Yeah, but they won't be on those, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it would be probably like 530 shows.
If you want to go through, if you can find those bells.
Crap ton.
Yeah. Anyway, we can find bells, folks. It's just a certain comment that this guy made on one of the shows about
that was just perfect. A long time ago.
The timing was perfect. Anyway, Guy.
Yeah.
Is there any recent articles? Because they're not. There isn't normally, so I'm not expecting anything.
There is. There is a review.
Steps back in amazement
over at MyMac, and as I waste time looking for the comment that I can't find from the author that made that up, I found it. Good. That made the review. Took me a while because as soon as you said that, it was like, I haven't done that yet. So now I have. Do you want me to do it?
Of course, yeah.
Or do you want to do it? Okay.
No, you do it.
So this is a review over at mymac.com. FileMaker Pro 19. This is a
review
by Sark Mealy.
This is Sark Mealy. I don't want any mealy snark from you, G-men.
Yeah, well,
You
kind of happens whether you want it or not. MyMac last reviewed FileMaker Pro version 18 a year ago. FileMaker, the product, began life as a database, had already, version 17, been recast as a platform for application development. Not long after that review, FileMaker Inc. changed its name back to the venerable Claris. Yeah, see, mine wouldn't go that far. Older Mac users will remember and love Claris as the company that brought us ClarisWorks and Emailer, on which the current Apple Mail application was based. Has it been a while since you thought about FileMaker? Do you still think of it as a database program, albeit extremely powerful? If you haven't kept up with the extent to which FileMaker's market penetration and user base has grown to more than 1 million, then do take a look at this page. You may be in for some surprises. Go on over to the website and read that review. I don't know why I did that. From Mr. Mark Seeley. It is a mystery.
It's a mystery. Oh, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
So what will that lead into?
That will lead, Guy, into
Tell
a
me.
very short, because there's no news that I've picked up this week, Gaz's snippet section. You notice I don't say Gaz's news snippets.
No.
You do notice that, don't you? It's just Gaz's
Yes.
snippets. So it could be
Snippets.
anything that I pick up and find of any sort of interest.
That you
Mildly
think
amusing.
is fun.
Yeah, or not.
Yeah. Or annoying.
Germany prepares to launch the COVID-19 contact tracing app this week. This was last week, while the UK version stuck in a development hell zone. More on the UK one later, because that goes on and on
And on.
and on and on and on. 16-inch MacBook Pro now available with up to 75% faster Radeon Pro 5600M graphics.
You know, I was just thinking what the MacBook Pro needed was 75% faster Radeon Pro 5600M graphics.
You got it, buddy. You got it.
What am I
launches
waiting for?
Apple launches the 2020 back-to-school promotion, free AirPods with eligible Mac or iPad purchase. Woohoo! Apple offers interest-free financing on more of its products, Guy. More. I
As
didn't
compared
know
to
they sold.
less.
I didn't know they sold a more. I'll have to go and have a look at that. Apple brings
the Apple more
or less.
or less.
Apple brings Apple Developer App to Mac ahead of WWDC. That was obviously last week.
wait.
If you're listening to if you're listening to this next week, that means WWDC is now on, of course, which you probably are.
So if they're just bringing the Apple Developer App to the Mac, what were people using to make apps before?
Well, do you want me to go and have a look a little bit more?
No. That was one of those rhetorical questions.
It was
I
a
thought was going to
good
be
question, though. It was
much
a good
funnier than it was.
Car key privacy policy detailed in iOS 13.5.1, suggesting launch could come soon.
But they better not key my car. I'll be really angry.
I will leave that there. What will macOS 10.16 be called? Now, I put this in, right? It's the last comment that really, really made me laugh here. Okay, so everybody, let me just put some context around this. Apple names its systems. Every
Yes.
time they have a version change, a number change, a big number, that's 10.16, 10, 15, 14, backwards. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. They have a name change, right? And we have a list of those names, and I'm just going to quickly go through them. Cheetah, Puma, Jaguar, Panther, Tiger, Leopard, Snow Leopard, Lion, Mountain Lion, Mavericks, Yosemite, El Capitan, Sierra, High Sierra, Mojave, Catalina, and then we think it's going to be Mr. Snugglepuss.
It should
However, there was a news story out there said, what will macOS 10.16 be called? Mammoth, Monterey, Skyline, or something new? Look, they are not going to call an OS something new now, are they?
That would be
Don't
ridiculous.
Just ridiculous.
They would call it Mr. Snugglepuss before they
I
would call
think
it
that's
something new.
Absolutely. Apple's AirPods Pro are at their lowest price ever on Amazon. This is in the States in particular. So if you're in the States, go and check AirPods Pro. They're still over $200.
Yeah, not exactly.
They're at their
bargain.
lowest price,
Yeah.
$219, $218,
I don't know why anybody would buy some of those.
Scratch. Yeah. Well, at least keeps the wax from coming out your ear on the show.
Yeah.
In Latvia, they wanted to harness smartphone technology for contact tracing, but they ran into a Silicon Valley built brick wall. Now, do a bit of a search for this, because I don't know what they're complaining about really, but there's lots of issues with the Apple and Google API that's been going on and the way they want to process stuff. I don't think it's actually Apple or Google's problem. I think it's a little bit like the UK's problem, in so much as they wanted to do something different. Sigh over. Apple faces a new antitrust complaint over a 30% App Store commission rate. Yeah. Shock horror, isn't it? Shock horror. But apparently they're facing two new anti-competition probes. One investigation centers on the iPad and iPhones being limited to installing apps, and the other involves Apple Pay. Yeah. Don't we just love the EU and everything it does?
Because we want everything so open that anyone can see our stuff. Anyone.
I saw a note which I put in here, WWDC 2020, what we might expect Apple to announce on June 22nd. And I've put in brackets, lots.
In bold.
In bold, yeah, absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, uppercase as well. Apple and Google pressured to block unofficial contact tracing apps.
Is this from the EU, the same EU that says, no, you have to be open, except when we tell you not to be?
No, I don't think it was. But anyway, another analyst believes Apple will not include EarPods with iPhone 12. I think I mentioned this last week. So,
yeah.
iPhone 12, no EarPods.
Are we sure it's going to be called the iPhone 12?
No, I think it's going to be called Snuggle Bus 2. Apple's
electric boogaloo.
Electric boogaloo. Boogaloo. Apple's App Store ecosystem facilitated over $500 billion in commerce in 2019. That's according to Apple. I think I might have that twice, actually, because I've got the official Apple. So I might, when I get to that, I might have to skip it. Germany's contact tracing app using API launches and somehow cost $22.7 million.
Of course it did.
Yeah, of course it did. Apple TV Plus secures the rights to Israeli-Iran espionage thriller called Tehran. Apple announces WWDC 20. Yeah, 20. They've missed a 20 off that. Swift Student Challenge winners. I've got a link to that somewhere, but if you want to do a search, they'll tell you who the student winners are.
They're the future of the world.
They're the future of the planet, folks. Apple redesigns the
By
App
your
Store.
powers combined, I am Captain Planet. I don't know where that came from.
Will you let me finish?
Yes.
It's the second time I've said that today. Apple redesigns App Store contact portal with mobile website ahead of WWDC 2020. Apple threatens to remove email app Hey. Now, don't talk about this just yet, because this is another one that goes on and on. Remember, people, I pick this news up as I go through the week, and I sometimes find it amusing to see how it evolves. So Apple threatened to remove the email, threatened to remove the email app Hey from the App Store over lack of in-app subscription option. Apparently, Apple shares can hit $400.
What?
According to one analyst who isn't Wedbush. And your favorite's coming up later, actually.
I know. I saw that. Yeah. I was getting ready.
Good. Apple adds WWDC special event video and YouTube to YouTube ahead of Monday. Let's people set reminders.
Well, it was awful nice of them, seeing how they wouldn't let us set it before.
Apple's diversity chief, Christy Smith, leaves the company. Gone.
Bye. I don't have no idea who that is.
Well, it's Christy Smith.
Oh, okay. Well, that settles it.
She's the diversity chief.
Don't assume gender. Don't assume gender. I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop right there.
I know it's a she because I've seen a picture of her.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Assumption.
It's all in that one line, guy. Apple's diversity chief, Christy Smith, leaves the company. I mean, I couldn't make it any plainer for you.
Well, you could have made it or couldn't have made it plainer, but you seem to always forget who it is you're talking to.
That is true. Google Meet, the video conferencing, is coming to Gmail iOS app.
Okay. As compared to all the other VoIPs that they've come out with over the last 15
don't worry,
years.
it won't last long.
Yeah.
Apple is on the hook for $109 million to patent aggregator WLAN. Yeah, 109 million. Hang on a minute. I've just got that in my top pocket. How NASA, there was a story here that says how NASA secures and manages Apple devices in a government agency. I was going to ask you about that, and then I thought maybe I shouldn't.
Probably not.
Yeah, because we know what your big boss at the top thinks about people telling on him, don't we? AirPods cannibalized.
I don't talk about that guy.
I know. That's why I moved on, so you didn't have to say anything. AirPods cannibalized. Apple Watch sales suggest Canalys, but Apple are still number one.
Wait. Hold
they
on.
reckon
So
their AirPods.
When did AirPods become the same thing as an Apple Watch?
I know.
This is why when we talk about these analysts, that we shake our head. We don't just shake our head, we shake our heads ruefully at some of the just sheer nonsense that comes out of these analysts.
Yeah, I didn't bother reading more. It's probably he's got a very valid point, possibly.
Somehow.
In his own head. Apple has picked a fight with popular app developer Basecamp on the eve of WWDC.
Hey.
More on all sorts of fights coming up. RBC boosts Apple price target to $390.
That's not $400.
No, but why Apple shares was the heading. Why Apple shares can hit $400, and they're already at $390. I think they can get to $450 myself. Hey, I'm an analyst.
Rolling
pay
the
me
dice.
a lot of
That's
money,
what
folks.
that was.
Pay me a lot of money. They can hit $450. Buy at $390. You'll make money at $450. Don't take any advice from me.
More.
Don't take any advice from me on financial. Please don't do it. Just don't. The Apple Watch is estimated to reach 100 million lifetime shipments soon, despite the weaker demand in the last quarter. Yeah.
Okay.
No. Hang on a minute. Let me rephrase that. Apple Watch estimated to reach 100 million lifetime shipments sooner, despite weaker demand last quarter, and AirPod sales.
Which, and as we know, are the exact same thing.
Absolutely. Apple launches Apple Camp at Home experience for kids. The German. I wish I could spark.
Speaking, launching and speaking.
The German contact tracing app hit 6.5 million downloads in 24 hours as the UK app sees the fourth delay. A UK contact tracing app will reportedly use Apple/Google solution after all. There's more to come. Apple to assemble the new iPhone SE in India to avoid a 20% import tax. Well, yeah, that's not a surprise. Companies do it all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A patent describes Apple glasses using eye tracking to video AR experiences. There you go. We know what you think about AR, Apple, and glasses. So, yeah, I'll move on.
Makes me so happy.
So happy. Apple takes action to end one antitrust battle in South Korea.
Only 16 more to go.
16 million. Apple allegedly continues to work on AirPower like charging mat with A11 chip to prevent overheating. Do you know, there are times when you just can't get over physics, Guy, to be honest with you. I don't think they're ever going to fix this.
Well, I mean, the whole thing about the charging mat was it was supposed to be you can charge like 3 devices. It doesn't matter where you put them on the mat. Blah 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 blah. And when they first talked about it, I mean, I'm still not using Qi charging for anything.
No. However, we had a bit of a discussion with Carl earlier, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it was talking around the use of your watch all day and all night. And my point then was, when do you charge it? When do you get a chance to charge it? And I think it's gonna be little and often. So having these sorts of places, which are just pads that you could put anything down on, will be obviously much more useful. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
There's new Mac malware that uses a novel tactic to bypass Mac OS Catalina security. I didn't take much note of that other than just commenting on it. I haven't heard much about it, so I'm going to keep a lookout for that for next week.
Because it's the same nonsense. I don't know all that much, but I was listening to a couple people talk about it, and they were basically going, look, it's the same thing. They try to fool you into giving them the password, and then you install it yourself because, we're all idiots. So
it's a social one then, isn't it? Rather than a malware. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Canada launching the national contact tracing app built with Apple-Google API. Good for them.
If only other countries. I blew the joke. Never mind. Go ahead.
UK abandons the contact tracing app for Apple and Google model. More on that later. Sure. The antitrust committee chairman calls App Store fees highway robbery. I don't know whether he said it like that, but that's how I imagine it. Apple is facing mounting calls. Apple is facing mounting calls to reconsider its App Store rules from the creators of the apps themselves. Dozens have used the term hostile.
Not dozens. Oh my God. Dozens.
Now, are you ready?
Only there weren't hundreds of thousands of other developers.
Are you ready?
I am ready.
Gene Munster.
I have waited for weeks, I tell you.
Challenges Apple to eliminate the developer program subscription fee.
And he's wrong. There, okay.
iOS 14 and iPad OS 14 Apple Podcasts app to get a major overhaul.
Corporal punishment? Major overhaul?
Very good. Apple rejects Facebook gaming platform from the iOS App Store. Phil Schiller has said Apple will not change the decision on the Hey email app. No App Store rule updates are imminent.
I wonder who is going to blink.
Apple incorporates a tvOS events app into Apple TV app ahead of the... How many times you can say Apple TV and app in one line ahead of the WWDC? A leaked Apple file seemingly reveals iOS 14 device compatibility, and I could go to that link and tell you that but it's all rumor. Apple Pay promo offers discounts from Puma, Oakley, Sunglasses Hut, and more. Now, I think this is really in the US, so if you've got Apple Pay and Apple Card and all of that,
have a real hankering for sunglasses,
and you want to buy stuff, watch out for the promos, just like every other card. Apple pays the Hey email. Sorry, Apple says the Hey email app was originally approved in error.
Oops, our bad. Take it out.
Well, it's their choice.
Yeah.
From Bloomberg, Apple's AR/VR gaming headset plans altered by internal divisions.
Well, Bloomberg said it.
The very next story I saw. Johnny Ive, who'll be that?
I don't know, some guy.
Delayed Apple's AR headset project over design concerns. Get that, guy. It's ongoing. Apple is heading into WWDC by insulting developers of free apps.
Yeah, well, let us do it instead.
Apple TV Plus debuts new documentary film Dads ahead of Father's Day. and makes the banker free to stream. Apple refuses to relent as the fight with Basecamp over Hey App rages on. This is
I love
rages.
They make it
Rages
sound
on.
like you got Apple employees over on this side, and you've got developers over on this side, and they're staring at each other like they're gonna fight like the Jets and Sharks in West Side Story, and you can just see them trying to sing and failing miserably.
Yeah.
Don't sing.
And all Steve would say is,
no matter how you try to spin this, what can you say?
yeah.
Yeah.
The Apple Watch fall detection helped save the life of a 92-year-old farmer after he fell from a ladder. 92.
The feel-good story of the day.
Still up a bloody ladder. That's
what are you doing up the ladder, I think, is the bigger question.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, his daughter, who put him off what he was doing because she said, "What are you doing up that ladder?"
Yeah.
Apple makes the banker free. Oh, I've already said that. Amid the Juneteenth celebration. I don't know what the Juneteenth celebration is, but anyway. Apple are now closing 11 reopened US stores because of the COVID-19 spikes that are going around.
They haven't even come anywhere near to opening in the DC area. So, okay.
Apple and Google not told of the UK plans to use their tech with the NHS. What did I say at the very start of this? We had the conversation and I said they'll only end up going back to it anyway. And why are they not using it? They should just do what the Germans are doing. Just move on. But yeah.
They'll have it going just in time for COVID-22.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
iOS 13. Now this is analyst for you as well. And this is what is it? Statistic lies, damns lies, or so. I can't remember what the saying is. But anyway, iOS 13 installed on 92% of iPhones released in the last 4 years. Want to spin it another way? Apple says iOS 13 is now running on 81% of all devices. iPadOS adoption hits 73%.
Okay, because 81 into 73 is 92. I think that's plain. That's new math.
You got it. You've absolutely hit the nail on the head.
Or should have.
I don't know. We hit
Shunk.
Tim Cook talks George Floyd, equality, and Trump in clip from upcoming CBS Sunday morning interview. But apparently Apple CEO Tim Cook has raised civil rights topics in talks with President Trump. And all I can say at the end of that is, phew. However, I've put a fun story in, Guy.
Oh, good.
The link that I've put in, which obviously you'll have to put into the show notes, links you to a robot. This robot, Guy, has broken its own bricklaying record. Now, the reason I put why is because it's just putting breeze blocks on top of each other. It's not putting any cement in there. I mean,
it's just putting them down, laying them down.
This wall could be knocked over, hence the why. Now, I've also got another story which I think is fun and cool, kind of really. And this is you see how the Apple Watch actually ejects water. Okay. But it does it in slow motion. Now this video, Guy, it's 5.5 minutes long. Now that's what I call slow-mo.
Yeah, I do the same thing after a long Saturday night, except it's, whiskey and not water.
Absolutely. And that, folks, is the end of Gaz's snippets. Are they getting longer? Am I still
sometimes? No. I think I've told you this before. I actually really, really enjoy your snippets.
I do. Take that the wrong way.
Well, don't. The news snippets as they appear on this show. Because it gives me a chance. It gives me a chance to react.
That's good. That's
in
good.
all kinds of weird ways.
Yeah.
Whoa,
sometimes they're long, sometimes they're short. We'll say. So take us out, Guy. I think we've had enough.
Well, probably. Everyone, please stand by. And Guy and Gaz, yeah, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but they'll be right back. Blah, blah, blah.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to Point Two. I've got to find out what the French is for point now, haven't I? This week's
paint.
mighty.
It's paint.
I don't think it is.
No, probably not.
Yeah, at this point 2 of this week's mighty MyMac podcast. It's glad to have you back for this second section, which it's not going to be a massively long section, but we've said that before, and it's ended up being about 6 hours. So
Yeah, but it'll be quality.
Happen. It's always quality. It's always quality. Go for it, Guy. Go straight in for the quality.
Okay, so I have some questions, Gaz, and I want your opinion on these things.
Hit me, babe.
Some of this we talked about earlier on the Mac and Forth show. How far, in your opinion, Gaz, will Apple take the iPad OS, or iOS for that matter, toward a desktop-like experience? More so iPad OS, because that's kind of what they've been pushing along those lines.
That is a really difficult question to answer. Why? Because I don't know where they are on the current experience of it being a desktop. I.e.,
well, I mean, they have multi-track, they have cursors.
Yards I think they will continue to make it a user-friendly experience that people who are not currently Mac users are more used to be able to bring them along onto the iPad, and for workforces also to be able to use the iPad in a commercial environment, which then will increase the amount of businesses and it will increase the amount of business options that they've got to be able to sell that product.
Okay.
So I think they'll continue to improve it. Now, the thing is, it is a different way to use it. I'm starting to use some of the gestures to be able to bring, multi-screening up, multitasking up.
Oh, we've been using gestures, all right.
We're always using gestures on this show, especially at each other.
Yeah.
And we never get to multitask like you can on an iPad. No, I think they'll continue to do it because there's a big business opportunity for them there. Because certainly at our place, iPads are the tool of choice
Which is so easy tablet. To pick up and put down.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because all you have to do is use your hands, pick it up, and then put it down. It's that easy.
Your stuff. Yeah.
No, I think they will continue, but I don't think it'll be a full desktop experience. I.e., because they've got the keyboard.
The Surface, they wouldn't be. You don't think they're going to go that route?
No, I don't think they will. They'll go closer to it, but they won't go as far as the Surface. And I've got to be honest with you, the Surface and my Windows 10 is good, but there are still so many things which you go, ooh, I want to use a mouse. I do not want to touch that screen. I do not want to interact with. I don't want to go from one to the other. Whereas I think what Apple are doing, especially with this new floating screen, they want to be able to do that more fluidly, but they still want you to feel the difference between using the device in your hand rather than connected with a keyboard and a mouse. So that floated stand that they've got kind of keeps it away. So it's still not, it's not a natural thing to do, because I still don't feel it is a natural thing to do, to go from a keyboard and a mouse up to a screen. Some people say, yeah, I found it so much more natural. Everybody I talk to at work, nobody finds that a natural process. And when I watch people that do it, boy, does it look awkward.
Who wants that? Who wants the awkward? Okay.
Yeah, so was that a short enough answer for you?
That's just dandy. Should the Apple Watch become a more active device, standalone functionality versus interaction with other devices?
Yes.
Okay, well, so far it's a music player. It's a cell phone if you have that. If you have, cellular
Misa,
connectivity.
Misa,
Yeah,
Misa,
I
I
did.
do, sir. I do.
I didn't go that route.
I tell you what, the best time I've used that was we went down to some friends who live on the coast, down near Loo in. Oh no, I shouldn't have told you that.
You went to the Loo
in Cornwall. That's Looe. It's a fishing village town down in Cornwall. It's a very nice place actually. If you come into the UK,
I heard that the Loo stinks.
Ooh. Anyway, there is an island off the town of Loo, and we went kayaking around the island. It took quite a few hours actually to do this. And as I'm going out, my watch starts doing the ringtone, and I thought, I'm in the middle. Well, I wasn't in the middle of the ocean, of course. I was out, a mile.
The kayak in the middle of the Atlantic.
Yeah, that would have been a bit silly, wouldn't it? Plus, there wouldn't have been any signal. That's the thing. There wouldn't have been any signal.
Or would there? No.
Or would there? Yeah. Anyway, it rings and I answer it. And the guy I'm speaking to rabbits on, and I'm kind of smiling to myself, kayaking as I go along. And he suddenly goes, "Where are you?"
I'm in the Loo.
I'm just kayaking round Loo Island. He went, "What?" I said, "I'm talking to you on my watch." So I love it for, being a more individual standalone device. Yeah.
Okay. Well, what else do you think? I mean, what else would you like to do with it? Because like I said, right, it's a phone, it's a music player. You can run some applications on it. It's a fitness device. Can you think of anything else that the watch could do?
Well,
you still have to remember its limitations.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a watch. So, you have hit me a bit with that question off the top of my head. No, I can't think of anything that I'd like to say. Oh, yes, it must also be able to do this. I hear the new watch may well have a compass. That is something which is also quite useful because I do. Don't ask me why, but I use a compass a lot. I'd like to use it for some apps. So really, it's still a little bit linked to the phone, and I think it's that separation which I think is coming, which I think is makes it more useful for myself. I mean, there are many times now where I just go out and don't take my phone. However, the one thing with the phone is the camera. Now, there's no way that you can add a camera to the watch.
Or at least not one that's going to be worth anything.
No, that's right. So
it would look like cell phone pictures from 2002 or something.
Yeah. So just making it less detached to the iPhone, I think, would make it more of a market piece as well for other people. I mean, I use email on it. I use texting on it. All of that stuff is
or
useful. Maps, yeah, absolutely.
One thing I really, and I don't have the cellular availability or the cellular connectivity with my watch. No. However, one thing I really do like is when I'm using Apple Maps and I'm going from place to place in my car, I'll be coming up to a turn. And the first time this happened, I was like, "Oh, someone's trying to notify me of something." And it was true. They were. It was my watch was trying to tell me there's a right-hand turn coming up, and it gave me that
because
that single, not the single, but the
buzz,
the buzz, and it has different buzzes for left and right.
Yeah, that I haven't got used to that because
I have no idea.
Was that 3 or was that 4? I don't know. But what it tells you is that you've got a turn or something coming up, and then you can just glance at the map. Now, I hated having directions on VoiceOver, whether it was the old Garmin's, whatever it was. I hated having that on. So this just giving you a quick. There's an activity which you've got to take in the car coming up. I turn left, turn right, or a roundabout. Or rotary, as you call them.
Well, they make
it. Yeah. So I think I'd just like it to be more separated from the
other devices,
from the iPhone. Yeah.
Okay. Next question: if Apple switches to ARM for the Mac,
can we stop you there?
Sure.
Can I stop you there?
Of course.
I'm not the expert here. I'm going to ask you a question, Guy.
Okay.
If Apple switches to ARM, how long do you expect the transition to take And in what order?
That is a wonderful question, and I'm so glad you came up with it. I think that if Apple does switch to ARM, now we have the rumors of a new iMac that's supposedly coming that will be announced at WWDC. We really have no idea. However, if I was in charge at Apple, and believe me, there is no possible way that will ever happen. I would start with the least expensive Mac that was available and work my way up as compared to starting from the top and working my way down. And while the iMac is hardly their most powerful computer, it's up there, especially when you consider not so much the iMac Pro, I guess the iMac Pro. If you consider the iMac Pro, that's the second most powerful computer that Apple offers.
Yep.
But given my preferences, I would have started with the MacBook Air, or this would be an excellent time to reintroduce, especially for developers, the MacBook, because we haven't the MacBook as a line was canceled, I think, a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
In favor of the MacBook Air, because it wasn't that different of a computer, not really. It was basically appealing to the same market. However, if they're going to make this switch to ARM from Intel, to have a relatively low cost device, and I would have priced it well under $1,000, to get people used to the idea, to get devices in their hands, because it's not enough to say we're going to switch the Mac to ARM, because you also have to get developers on board to switch their apps from Intel x86 based to ARM based, and not rely on whatever it is that they may call the compatibility layer between Intel and ARM based software. So if you start getting more and more devices out there into the hands of regular users, then that's incentive for the developers to take their existing apps and take the time and take the money, because it's not cheap, and make those apps work within the ARM framework. So I would start with the MacBook.
Right.
Then I would go to the MacBook Pros, both the 13 or maybe even switch that to a 14. This would be a really good time
I think
reintroduce the MacBook Pro, the smaller MacBook Pro, from a 13 to a 14 inch.
Yeah, Guy, I think they might do one, but then it'll be a big bang.
What do you mean?
Well, they'll either do one and then all of them. I don't think it'll be in dribs. It'll be in an order. It'll be in dribs and drabs.
It did take some time. It was over a year from start to finish for them to switch over from PowerPC to Intel. However, at the same time,
that was a long time ago.
It was, and Apple didn't have the financial resources that Apple, the company today, has. So literally, they could say, you know what, we're going to take our existing stock of Intel-based Macs and we're going to fire sale them. And in the course of the next 3 months, we're going to start producing nothing but ARM-based Macs across the board. Whether, the MacBook, the new MacBook, the new 13-inch MacBook, the new 14-inch MacBook Pro and 16-inch MacBook Pro, the iMac, and then Mac Mini, of course, and then stop there. Take your time, because it's not as important. The market is relatively small for the iMac Pro and the Mac Pro. Get those right, because if you really want professionals to switch from x86 to ARM-based Mac Pros or professional Macs, you got to get it right the first time, because if you don't, they'll hang on to their old stuff for years until the software no longer works.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Good.
Let's see. Do you think that the Mac OS needs big updates or new features coming up here in WWDC?
Wow.
See, I told you this section was going to take longer than you thought.
I feel that Catalina, for me, has had one or two issues, which are tweaks, small things which they need to correct. Such as, I still have a problem with my wireless mouse and it losing its Bluetooth connection, it seems, or doesn't lose the Bluetooth connection. It actually just starts becoming sluggish for some reason. There are one or two times when I've seen the rainbow ball of death, I think more often in Catalina than I did in previous OS. Not so much that it never fails, but I think I've seen it more often.
Yeah, it just takes longer.
And there are some things which seemingly you could do previously in terms of connecting to other devices, USB connected hard drives and stuff, which don't seem to appear now. So I think there are tweaks. So no, I don't think it needs a big update. New features. There are probably many new features which it could do with, none of which would probably affect me, Guy, if I'm perfectly honest with you. The biggest new feature for me would be able to share my photos amongst family and for them to be able to also see those photos and feed into them, because I think that's a big miss now. For those of you probably...
Photos is a mess.
No, I'm not going to say it's a mess. I'm not going to say it's a mess because I use it a lot. And
what choice do you have? If you're using your phone, Apple iPhone.
Yeah, but I use it a lot, and I don't have that many problems with it. The biggest problem I have with it is sharing and input from others. I actually think the editing on the phone, on photos on the Mac is really good. I've been starting to delve into it a little bit more, and it is really good. It's that sharing piece which I lost, because I used to have my library on a shared drive and used to share it between the family, and that was a real big downer actually when that went away. So I think for me that's quite a big feature that it's not a new feature. It's bring back something that you were able to do.
Should have been there a long time ago.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately.
Okay.
If it could make my tea in the morning, that'd be perfect.
All right. I think this is the last question that I have here. Are the iPhone screens large enough for multitasking similar to what goes on in iPad OS? And how would Steve Jobs answer that question?
No.
That was completely unrehearsed, folks. But I somehow knew that if I asked it in that way.
Yeah, no, that's it. I'm not gonna expand on that.
Could you do multitasking?
Yes.
On the phone? Yes.
Yes.
But you'd have to do it in a different way than the way the iPad does it, which honestly would try to do different type of multitasking within the same basic environment of iOS. And let's face it, iPad OS is iOS. It still is. Its core is iOS.
Yeah.
Try to put on a different type of multitasking environment on the iPhone for iOS than what's currently on the iPad OS, I think would add a layer of complexity, especially to developers, that is just not necessary.
Yeah, great.
It would be like trying to. It would be like trying to add multi.
The problem there, Guy. Shall I give you a big reason why they shouldn't do it as well?
Sure.
To that point, that they would have to do it differently would mean that when you're flipping from the phone to the iPad and you're trying to do a task which is done slightly different on the phone, you'll get so frustrated with it being different. And I think you're right. They can't do it the same because it's just not as easy. It just doesn't seem to work. So, yeah, I can't see it happening.
especially with the multi-touch features that are already built into the phone, as far as coming from the bottom and the sides and all the rest of that.
Yeah.
You may as well put it on the watch. Wow, there's a concept.
Wow.
Hey, something new for the watch.
Something new for the watch, Sonny.
Something new. My God, how would you? Can you imagine? Let me split the screen on my watch. That looks. This is a watch. Imagine that there's a watch here, because there isn't. He's got his watch on, and you're trying to split the screen and do is no. It's just not gonna work.
No.
Yeah, you tell him, Steve. All right, and of course, will macOS actually be called Mr. Snugglepuss, or is our useful info at the bottom of our notes just wrong, Gaz?
I think actually they should call it Mr. Snugglepuss. I tell you what, I'm going to put a bet on.
That would be so great.
I'm going to put a bet on it. I'm going to throw a $5 out the window and just put it's called Mr. Snugglepuss. That I'd get millions to one on that, wouldn't I?
Probably. And actually, here is something for our listeners. This is homework for our listeners. Do you think that Apple should call macOS 10.16 Mr. Snugglepuss and give us a compelling reason as to why? That's what we want to know this week. Get us out of here, Gaz.
All right, Governor, stand by, and we'll be right back. Yes, we will, Governor.
And welcome, everyone, to point 3 of this week's MyMac.com podcast. We are so happy. We are so happy that you are here with us, whether we have an Aunt Mildred or not. Would you agree, Gaz? He's nodding his head. Yes, he is.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip.
Perfect.
Right, guy, get your outro music ready.
Okay.
Get that finger ready. This is a really quick tip. As in Windows, you can use Command K to create a hyperlink on your Mac.
I didn't even know you could do that on Windows, and I'm nodding my head.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
I'm just going to focus on your camera. Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz's tips.
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
There you go. I love that mask. When you pulled that out on the Mac and Forth show earlier, and you first took it out, I didn't realize it was a mask until you actually put it on. And I was like, oh, that is perfect. Now, this is a little inside baseball. When we finished with the Mac and Forth show earlier, now Carl always asks his guests to send him a picture so that he can include that in the show graphics for the show that goes up on YouTube. And so last week I sent him a picture, and this week he reused that picture for me, and Gaz sent him a picture. I honestly think that instead of your picture, that mask would have been perfect. As a matter of fact, I may even use that image.
I'll tell you what.
For the show graphics this week.
Well, let's have that discussion before we leave, because I've got a high res picture of this. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Okay. Have you got a pick this week, Guy?
I do. And this was kind of out of left field. Now, at least here in the States, most states that are starting to open up still have the requirement that when you are outside and interacting with other people, that you need to currently at least wear a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And because there are hundreds of millions of people in this country, finding decent quality masks can be very, very difficult. There's a lot of them available. And it's just hard. And when I went to work on Friday, I was kind of lamenting this fact with one of my coworkers. And I said, well, most of the ones that they've given us for work, and most of the ones that I can find when I finally get them, even if you can get them, they're too small for my head because I have this big, bulbous, stupid head. And,
You do?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for agreeing with me. Thank you.
Nodding my head.
Oh, okay. Ah!
That feels really powerful.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
So she gave me a mask. It had a particular political statement on it that we're not going to go into it. But the important thing was it fit my head. And it was a comfortable mask. They're not cheap. They're like $6 to $10 per mask. However, they are washable, so it's not like it's a one-time thing that you'll use and then throw away. You can wear it, wash it, wear it again. And they have lots of different designs. And it's over at Etsy, ETSY.com. Shop the Tea House, TheHousela. And there'll be a link in the show notes for it. But I can tell you from personal experience, the masks are well put together. They're very comfortable. And especially if you have like a relatively large head, they will fit you without pulling your ears forward, which was the problem I was having with a lot of other masks. How about you, Gaz? What you got?
Okay, so what I've kind of done here is I've used this week's pick to be the BBC Civilisations AR app.
Ooh,
Can you hear that?
Didn't know? Yeah. Oh wait, no, I don't hear it.
Try moving your phone slowly.
You got to put it by the. Oh, you have it by the microphone. And now stop talking because I talked over it.
Yeah, it did. It did. So
Sorry.
basically, it's the BBC Civilisations app, and what it does is it basically wants to understand a flat area. So if you've got a Blair table, you put it puts dots down on the table so it understands the area, and then what it'll do is you can choose an artifact from history, and it's about civilization. And then when you choose that artifact, you can then resize it onto your table, and it puts that artifact onto the table, and you can do a screen dump so it looks like that artifact's on your table, and you can zoom into it and get the real size, and then there are points on it, so you can light points on it, and then it gives you further information about the artifact then. And it's just a really good way of AR. It's like the sort of thing that you'd expect when you go into a museum, to be and you can spin it round so it's like you're walking around it, but you can actually walk around it with your phone, and it's just like those those display demos that they've done before on some of the keynotes. And it's a really well done. There are a few glitches on it, but I think that's the technology and the devices, but generally it worked really well. And also you can bring up the Earth. Actually, the Earth one's where it gets a bit glitchy because it gets in too big and goes too small too quickly. but it's really well done. And I've used, the thing is, some AR apps that I've gone in and used, I've looked at it and that's it. I've never gone into again. I keep going back into this, picking up a new artifact and finding out about it and spinning it around. So it's called Civilisations. It's from the BBC, and it's a good AR app. Try it.
So is it just like locations in London? So you could have like Stonehenge and Tower of London.
No.
Things like that?
It's artifacts. So it's like a well, let me come up with some for you.
Okay.
There's my. Oh dear. The problem is I've got to go through the process to bring up the.
Okay.
So
well,
let
we
me
can
just
do
turn
this.
it up. Right, there we go. So you can get the Corinthian helmet, which is from 500 to 600 BC, Euripius Strait in Greece. You can have a look at the Rosetta Stone. There's a Corinium cockerel from the UK. It's only that big, guys. The Hippo Bowl, octopus storage jar, round weight. There's all sorts of objects like that. If I scroll down
I always wanted an octopus storage jar.
The Madonna and Child from the early 1300s AD, Umbria in Italy. So that sort of stuff.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
Yeah.
Finally, something that's
cool.
actually useful with AR.
It is good.
Okay. No feedback that I'm aware of.
Guy. It's getting dark here, guy. Yeah.
Well, it was already dark here because of this storm that's kind of passing through.
Oh dear. Be safe.
Yeah. Well, we got like flood warnings earlier.
Ooh.
But obviously I'm not underwater, so it was
good.
okay. All right. If there's no feedback that we know of, if you would like to help support the things that I do and help me get more microphones, because, that's important, patreon.com/MacParrot, coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, and of course, paypal.me/MacParrot is all of the various ways that you can help support the things that I do. And we'll keep doing it whether you do or not. So, no worries there. But I do appreciate any support you guys give us. Gaz, if people wanted to get a hold of you, I know there must be at least one or two ways that they could.
Ever so easy, Guy. Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, G-A-Z, M-A-Z. You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitters, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, G-U-Y-A-N-D, G-A-Z.
Cars.
You could also send an email to feedback, F-W-D-B-A-C-K, at mymac.com, and I will see any of those. You can contact me on Facebook if you can find me. Instagram. Go onto Instagram.
You need to put those in there. I'll start putting those in there.
Yeah, perhaps I should.
You should.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
Guy's the one.
Is he? Is he really?
Guy.
Guy?
Guy's the one.
Yeah.
You remember Guy?
Yeah.
He's the guy.
Yeah.
His name was Guy. No fooling.
Yeah.
Pay no attention to that guy behind the curtain.
They never do.
They never do.
The guy was paid at 75 grand.
I wish.
Do we know it was a guy?
Well,
We do.
I like to go with Guy.
Wait, hold on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a guy.
Yeah, it was definitely a guy.
Wait,
Lost your
hold on.
place, didn't you?
Hold on, I screwed up.
There's an oldie, but it's no bells.
Only a rat would shoot a guy in the back.
So I'm a rat.
If somebody wants,
An email from Guy.
how would they do it?
Oh, it's so easy. You would open up some kind of program that did that thing, and you would type in Guy, G-U-I, at mymac.com. You can find me on the Twitters. I am MacParrot, and I am also Vert Shark.
Doodum.
That's it.
Doodum.
That's all we can do. That's all we can do.
No, but it's me. No, it's not music. It's me. I can sing it if I want to.
It could be a completely different song from
You can't
other
stop
things.
me from singing. Well, you can.
Yeah.
And probably you should.
Large amounts of violence would be not appropriate at all to stop you from singing. Okay, and Gaz, we have a Skype number.
We do.
We do. And that telephone number is 1 or +1 outside of the United States, 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or +1, area code 703-436-9501. And if you don't want to press 1 or +1, and I say this every week because it's important, damn it, then all you have to do is dial 703-436-9501. That's it. And I would like to say, Gaz.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, not you, but thank you and other people for downloading and listening to the MyMac.com podcast. Both Gaz and I greatly appreciate the fact that you have taken the time and the effort and energy and storage on your various devices to
Warm
do
socks.
Warm socks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they have to get their own warm socks. Yeah. And Gaz, I think that we're good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're smart enough.
This week we are.
Actually, yeah, this was kind of a smarter show than we normally do, which, I mean, the bar is set way low, but we jumped
There's
right
the
over
bar,
that
and we
bar.
went there.
It was like, boop, boop.
Yeah.
It's like, I know there's a gap.
Yeah.
And
3/8.
that dog,
3/8 it was.
Doggone it. Woof, 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 woof. People like us.
L'outraged ha poco significato quando è indignato e così ci potete davvero volete essere indignato. End.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home.